Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thomas Jack Attack Labonte.
And with him is Falcon Paladin. Thanks for inviting me to this cast.
Hey, man. Thanks for joining us. So this is a weird game. This is Vanguard. It's a new prototype RTS for a new RTS that's up and coming in the future. More concept art and fancy things being released. We're already starting to see these scouting units move across the map. It's nice and active, nice and interesting, right to go.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love how many workers you start out with. You're basically fully saturated on gold bases. Every one of these players has the same advantage. And starting out with a scouting worker is pretty amazing.
Yep. And on top of that, one of the other things we're starting to notice right away, Daedra and Torino taking their expansions right away. And a little bit later, Bales is taking his a little bit later. One of the things that you can notice right in the beginning, if you go to the Units tab, you can see how many scouting units each player makes. And that's kind of an idea you can get on how aggressive they want to be in the very, very first moments of the game. We have all these buildings over here, an Aegis gun and Nidus Destroyer, giant, behemoth dragon thing, and those are disabled for the first couple minutes of the game, and that'll allow the scouts to get in, do some scouting, or it looks like Super Bales is just going to start going around and collecting Xel'Naga energy. So that's basically a third resource. The Xel'Naga energy allows you to build in these fortification points that you can see all throughout the map. You get to start with some, and the main kind of purpose for these fortification points and these structures that you can build on them is to increase defenders' advantage, or the idea that you always have a place to run back to, and yeah, that's kind of what Bales is starting off with here in the beginning, as the blue team is starting to get up their gas and start teching up.
So how long are the static defense buildings immobile for, or disabled for?
129 seconds.
All right.
We started with so the engine time in StarCraft 2 is built in what we used to know as Heart of the Swarm time, and then there's another layer on top of it that makes it look like real time, even though all the engine's always calculating in Heart of the Swarm time. And so we recently changed over from using only engine values to making it appear in real time, and so we get these weird numbers like 129 seconds and things like that. But that's 3 minutes in old time, in old Heart of the Swarm time, basically.
Okay. And as far as these scouting units go, you told me earlier that they are melee only. What was the idea behind that exactly?
So the idea, so we had a bunch of scouts. We've been messing a lot with these scouting units initially, and we had them as ranged. And what would happen is most of the beginning game was about fighting with the scouts and doing cool micro and stuff, and that was a lot of fun. But we thought it was a lot more interesting if players had more reliable scouting. If the units are all melee, it's a lot easier to slip through and get information with your opponent, and so that way you can make a little bit more reliable strategic decisions and you don't run into build order losses. And whoa, okay, so we already have a pretty interesting development up here toward the blue base. The red player Torino has put down an Aegis gun for 50 Xel'Naga energy in his enemy's territory. That's supposed to be a blue side fortress, but he's making one over here instead, and he's gonna be able to use that as a sort of forward attack point potentially to make an assault on the expansions. Ooh, especially this third base from Theo is really, really vulnerable, very wide out in the open, a lot of attack angles to come in at.
But definitely already does have a watchtower there controlled by the red team, right?
The watchtower, each player gets...
Is that just basically for vision then?
It attacks too. It has an attack as well.
Okay.
It's not as strong as the towers, but it has a small attack. It attacks air and ground. But the extra thing is, like you mentioned, it gives extra vision. The vision range on the watchtower is much bigger than the one you get on your Aegis gun or Nidus Destroyer, what we call forts. And it looks like we already have some attacking going on over here. Super Bales is going to come in with a couple of Dragoons and Zealots and start making work on this hatchery, cutting into the economy potentially. And it looks like red team is coming thin as we're running into a 2 versus 1 situation. We're going to have to back up here.
Yeah, it looks like Team Red is doing a good job backing off to avoid the melee range from the blue defending units, and then just going back in, getting a couple of hits on that hatchery, and I think they're going to get it at this point. They might sacrifice some units, but I think the hatchery's going to go down, and yes, it does, and the Dragoons are going, backing up to their obelisk. That's very, very nice. Yeah.
Wow, looks like both teams had the same kind of idea. Blue taking a fort on the enemy side of the map, and red as well taking a fort on the enemy side of the map, but it looks like these ghosts are going to take it down. The forts do not have protection, so getting slow units to take them down is a pretty efficient way to get it done. And we see the red team moving across the map now, maybe attempting to defend, but not making it happen here. Ghost pretty vulnerable, And we're starting to see a little bit of that hidden mechanic appear there, which we can describe if we ever get a break in the action. But Warfield throwing down the Widow Mines, trying to get them burrowed really, really quickly here. We have artillery shots coming down from the Ghost. So basically corrosive bile, but we gave it to the Ghost instead because we thought it was a lot of fun, and Terrence gets to make that happen. Chronosphere coming down on these Ghosts is going to attack another like energy, and it looks like that was generally a pretty easily deflected attack for the blue team. Puts them very much in the lead as far as economy goes.
Though they did lose that hatchery, which has got to hurt a little bit. So yeah, so basically the Ghosts do have a corrosive bile type attack called Artillery Strike. It does splash damage. What was the idea behind that?
More or less, we really, in general, in Vanguard, we take away a lot of active abilities in general and stick to the ones that are positional and are skill shots and require counterplay. So we really like the, we don't have a Ravager in the game yet, but we really like the spell. And so we decided to put on the Ghost because it has interesting counterplay, right? Both players in the engagement get a say in how effective that artillery shot is. And that's how we sort of make decisions in a lot of ways on our.
Oh shoot! Zelnaga construct constructed. What is this thing?
All right, so this thing is the behemoth. It has 2,000 hit points, and it's basically used to break positions, to soak damage. It costs 100 Zelnaga energy. You have to control that Zelnaga vault in the center of the map to take it down, and it's just used exactly like it's supposed to be used here. Just get it out in front, help you soak up the damage. With Banelings crashing into it, a little bit of missed micro here from the red team, but overall it looks like defense is just barely going to be made. They're going to hold with this fortification point. Going to toss down a repair depot. One of the interesting things that we didn't get to mention yet is that supply is bound to your production structures. So whenever you build a production structure, you get some supply for that production structure. So barracks give you barracks unit supply, factories give you factory unit supply, etc. Zerg maintains no separated supply, but still has that Zergy feel where you can pretty quickly switch into different composition.
So it looks like there's a recovery shrine here, which reminds me of the shield battery from Brood War. Is that the general concept?
That is absolutely the general concept. It costs 50 Zelnaga energy. Everybody gets one. The repair depot is basically the Terran version. Yeah, everyone gets their own version of the repair situation. Blue team is looking really, really strong right now. This is quite nice for them.
I like how the Dragoons are smaller. What was the idea behind making that model quite a bit smaller than they are in Brood War, it seems?
Yeah, so a lot of the models that you see are going to be significantly different. Like the Spectre is actually a little bit bigger. The Archons, if they ever come out, are quite small. They're tiny. And it does look a little bit strange, but it's one of the really interesting design and balance concepts, or levers, let's say, that you can play with to make a unit stronger or weaker. One of the reasons why the Marine is so strong is not because of its stats, but because of its size, because you can fit a lot of DPS in a very small area.
Right.
So we use that as one of our levers to mess with the balance and the design of particular units to get them feeling good. The Archon being small allows it to get up in the front easier, get into that front line where it ought to be. And the Dragoon being smaller it just kind of helps it out with its its DPS per meter, let's say, per square meter or so.
All right, sounds good that way then. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Smaller units, more area for DPS. Little skirmish here at the bottom. Ghost and Widow Mines versus Marines. So are there any differences in the Widow Mines in this game?
The Widow Mines build out of the barracks in this game, which is quite weird. And General Warfield, who is the Widow Mine builder, also has Marauders, but they shoot up. So they have this mineral-only unit that can shoot up and down, just like Marines, but they're a little bit more tanky and do a little bit more DPS per clump or so.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's a little bit faster, too. Like, the Marines are quick with their stim ability, obviously, but it seems even like Zealots and Dragoons and everybody's just a little bit quicker than you would expect in a StarCraft game.
And a lot of that has to do with upgrades, right? We have a lot of really good mid to late game upgrades. Zergling speed, for example, is on Hive Tech. In the early game, a lot of units are slow, and the units generally tend to speed up as time goes on. We've got Torino coming here trying to break through this defense and take care of this middle base. One of the things about Vanguard is these expansions are mined out a lot faster than the main, and they also have a lot less mineral patches than the main. So being able to limit that income is pretty critical, as they can, take a base in the center, try to mine it out as quickly as possible, and get out of it.
So do you have to manually build workers to saturate your natural bases or your expansions?
No, not at all. There's no manual building of workers in the game. You still build your units, because that's kind of a decision, right? You have to just choose which units you're going to build at which time.
Right.
But workers is pretty much, you always want to be building workers at whatever base. And nice little move over here. The Storm is going to take care of most of it. Keep in mind, the Storm does not deal friendly fire damage in Vanguard. We've taken out almost all the friendly fire damage so far. And that's just because in a team game, having friendly fire is one of the most awful things ever. It feels terrible. So we got rid of most of it. We may even be getting rid of more in the future. So nice moves. And we've been having, by the way, lots of drops. Daedra's been in the main mineral line of Theo for a lot of this game. And we do have... it's really impressive, though. Theo has managed to take and hold this center base for an incredible amount of time. We really don't get to see this kind of a setup too often, but Daedra kind of using that a bit, going for the circling drops in the main.
So these Spectres are using the Kill Zone ability. Well, what exactly is the range on that? Because it looks like pretty far.
It's quite far. I don't know the exact number for that, but it is pretty significant. The units can kind of counter each other. The Ghosts and the Spectres can kind of go back and forth. They have very similar ranges. Oh man, the Kill Zone! Holy crap! Taking out lots of units there. Luckily, he was able to get out with most of his High Templar.
And so the Ultralisks are here as well. Looks like they're pretty much the same thing as far as being, just kind of a tanky melee unit. But they also have the Noxious Cloud ability.
Yes, they have the Noxious Cloud ability that deals 5 damage a second to everything around them, everything enemy around them. But they also have the Chitinous Plating has changed significantly. Instead of giving armor, it gives 200 hit points. 300 hit points. So you can see 850 hit point Ultralisk right here. And that's to give him a little more tankiness against the armored units, that are a little more hard-hitting, instead of just making it survive well against the Marines.
So these Liberators look like they have the Colossus Thermal Lance ability, and in fact they have that exact name there. So basically Flying Colossus, whose idea was that?
Yeah, so Flying Colossus was a lot of fun. I can't tell you whose exactly idea it was, but one of my... Oh, great run by here by Daedra is going to be able to take out this base. It should make a pretty significant difference in the economy. So we take a look at how things are going. The red team actually with this kill is going to put themselves securely in the lead economically. They're even making a move over in this side. But the Liberators here, the Flying Colossus, attack in a different way, right? Normally the Colossus attack is perpendicular, and this one is vertical.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is you can have a lot more micro if you set it up vertically than if you set up horizontally. It's sort of like a move is your best decision. But when you set it up vertically, it allows players to interact with it a bit more, do some more splitting, moving side to side, things like that.
Just better micro potential.
Just back and forward. Yeah.
So Zealots running in versus Banelings here. It looks like Banelings are pretty much as good against Zealots as they are in regular Legacy of the Void there.
Yeah, they're quite nice. They're going to be able to clean that up pretty easily. Man, these Liberators are pretty far away from home. Might lose one here, potentially. Nice mark going down there. That's a commander spell that makes everything take double damage inside. But he is so overextending with these Liberators. Loses a large chunk of his Liberator fleet. Those are very expensive units to replace.
And the remainder are very injured as well. So got a small attack of Lings. Again, Daedra has just been up in the red base, basically doing Ling harassment the entire game at this point.
Oh man, they're using this opportunity that as the blue armies head back to deal with that, red is going to coordinate attack moving forward, and this is going to clear out the central base and fortifications for the blue team, even pushing them further and further into the economic lead. You can see Super Bales, for example, his bank is non-existent. He's so broke right now, and he really needs to be able to secure another base if he can. He's going to go for this mineral-only one in the center area. But in the meantime, you got upgrade advantage for red team, income advantage for red team as well. Going to be really difficult for Blue to figure out a way to get back into this game after losing those bases. They're going to be taking the base again over in the center left side. But Theo is in a lot of trouble. Only 500 minerals a minute or so right now.
Yeah, income not very healthy there. Absolutely not. Daedra he's picking off robotics facilities. He's taking down starports. He's burrowing lings inside people's mineral lines. It's just incredibly ling heavy right now for him, and it seems to be working as far as that goes. But you're right. Like generally, the blue team is ahead at this point, as far as I can tell. Am I wrong about that?
You may have your blue team, red team on. Do you see 4 colors or 2 right now?
I see 2.
All right, you're going to want to change that so you see 4 colors. So we very specifically set things up so it's always blue-teal versus red-yellow. And that's A, to assist the majority of colorblind players, and B, to give you a sense of who's on whose team, and you can pretty easily tell as the battle is going on. And you still can get a sense as well of, the enemy, right? Who's fighting who, and which players individually contributing to the fight. So you have 2 Terrans in the same team. It's hard to tell who's contributing what to the fight.
Yeah, absolutely true. All right, yeah, I'll see if I can make that change here real quick. Big attack by Super Bales here, though. He's got Immortals, which apparently the Hardened Shield ability I was just reading is only works when the Immortal is stationary.
Yeah. So there are a bunch of mechanics like that in Vanguard. It's basically like a soft siege, where if you can make a unit commit to an area, a piece of ground, then you get an advantage. And that just kind of goes into the positional nature of the game. But holy crap, Daedra is just all over the place. We have Ultralisk harass, Zergling harass. Zerglings are absolutely just everywhere right now. And believe it or not, though, it's actually the red team is beginning to mine out. So they need to continue to deal damage here, continue to be cost efficient, or they're going to start running into problems. Luckily, their army is huge compared to their opponents right now. They're just barreling through. The blue team scrambling to hold on, but that's it. GG. Not going to be able to make it. Really just amazing tactics. Daedra pulling the blue team all over the place and allowing his ally Karina to go in for those main direct engagements. Really nicely done.
Yeah, excellent teamwork there. Looking at the resources lost here, it definitely shows that Torino and Daedra did extremely well, having lost only 14,000 and 10,000 resources apiece, whereas their opposing team 18, almost 20,000 apiece. There. So yeah, just incredibly cost efficient in this game.
Yep. Yeah, a lot more cost efficient engagements, and they were actually behind for most of the game until that critical moment where Daedra did, I think, the double attack into both of the mains, and then that central base from Theo was finally been able to be taken out. So that was your first game of Vanguard that you've ever seen in your life.
Yes, it was. It was
crazy.
Give
me some feedback. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me how you're feeling.
It was nuts. There's just as familiar as it looks in a lot of ways, it's just very, very different. As we mentioned prior to this casting, it does seem like there's more of a defender's advantage. You can show up with a big army and be rebuffed a little bit more easily in Vanguard than you can in StarCraft II Legacy of the Void. So that's kind of nice. The games seem to be a little bit more back and forth. There's fewer, 18 Marines just showed up, and now this entire expansion is gone in 3.8 seconds. I mean, that's it's hard to definitely come back from that. It's easier to respond to situations where that's happening if you have time to respond, obviously. So I do like that a lot. I love just the little smatterings of Brood War throughout. The Marine attacks or the Brood War sounds. The Dragoons, as derpy as they were in Brood War and as their pathing was terrible, they were just such a staple for such a long time. It's just good to see them back as well.
Oh, me too, man. The Dragoon too, just the way it controls and feels. It's just this like slow, sort of really sturdy unit, and it like plants down and launches a ball of plasma at the enemy and explodes and does like tons of damage. It's like, yes. So that's super satisfying feeling. Playing a lot of Protoss and Brood War, especially doing Goon Reaver stuff. But thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully if you're feeling it, I'd love to do another cast another time. You feel free at this point to do any shout outs to all of your channels and your links and your things that people can check you out.
Yeah, so I'm just Falcon Paladin at gmail.com if you want to submit replays. I'm youtube.com/Falcon Paladin, also at Facebook and Twitter /Falcon Paladin. I'm pretty active over there. I post 2 Legacy of the Void replays every single day of the week, except for Wednesdays and Sundays, where I basically do either a cheese compilation, which is basically Will Cheese Fails now that Lag TV is no longer doing StarCraft.
Nice.
Or, a best of 5 or a best of 7 between pro players. I'm just kind of all over the place experimenting with what works. And yeah, head over to check me out.
Yeah, man. Anyone watching this on my channel, 100% support Falcon Paladin. Dude is like the most prolific content creator in all of StarCraft. He cranks out so much content, it's silly. Get over there. Get your fill of ridiculous, amazing, prolific Falcon Paladin content. My name's Thomas Jack Tack Bonte. You're here, so you already know where to check me out. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Jack Tack.
No problem.